adding new mystery as well as new life on the subject. A beautiful cover picture of Yukino wielding a gun. She looks so badass in that moment. This chapter was not a chapter which many people suspected it to be, although there was still some. We are once again heading a little bit closer that yes, Lucy do indeed like Natsu, but who knows? Hi, for those who are watching, is the fairy tale is I mean no, this is the fairy tale chapter 510, but I am the angry anime fan, the despair reviewer, to bringing you this chapter. And what can we say about it? Well, the the gang has gathered back in the dungeon where Lucy and Natsu were locked away. The wounds have shrunk away, but Natsu, however, is not getting better. The the thing that she shrank and then increased again has become bigger and bigger. And no, not Randy, what did I just say? Dimara, who is still there, says that calls Natsu a demon. The strange thing is then Happy has the same type of face the same time when he says endless power. So, but Lucy refuses to believe that even if he is a demon, or if something like that. Yeah, Natsu is violent and rough around the edges, but he's also straightforward and honest, and is the person that got her into fairytale. Which Evergreen teases about saying she's totally heads over heels for him. Which her blushing there is actually kind of cute. But then Natsu begins to burn in dangerous sweat, dangerous steam, and getting colder. And now to the title of this chapter. It was called Natsu's Heart. Why is it called Natsu's Heart? Well, because apparently Natsu is on the brink of death, for reasons I myself cannot comprehend. And inside of his heart he sees a picture of Sereth, seeing that, well, a lot of people are gonna say like, okay, that doesn't make sense. The first person of me is gonna say, this is magic world, people. Stop complaining that it doesn't make sense. The second is, however, is if you think about it, in a way, your hearts will, you in these fictional fantasy novels, it's usually always one character who will represent that thing. And well, Seraph is his manifestation of his memories. He long since did not have. So he begins to show him a past that he never knew he had. The past when Seraph and Natsu were Seraph Dragneel and Natsu Dragneel. And we see for the first time a picture of Natsu's parents. His father looks very much like him, while his mother looked very much like Sereth. And then a dragon attacked. The strange thing is that dragon, it looks familiar for some reason, but it's probably just a coincidence. He then, the Seraph manifestation begins to talk on how he tried to work tirelessly in order to resurrect Natsu, and eventually did that at E&D, and then he entrusted it to Natsu. And here comes the part which causes a little bit of a confusion, although it's at the same time also makes sense. It's apparently the Dragon Slayer children have known each other even back then. And even back then, Gajeel and Natsu had a rivalry, which is probably why they have a rivalry now. It's been a repressed memory they had. And Wendy would always try to stop them by, well, being so emotional. And then Sting and Rouge were the same age as Wendy, and they looked up to them as their older brothers. What I felt doesn't make sense is, this almost makes it sound like, at the beginning, this almost sounded to me like Wendy, Rouge, and Sting actually are just the same age as Natsu and Gajeel, but no, this seems to hint that they were not. But then I asked them, why are they the same size? For me, it doesn't really make sense that how old were Natsu and Gajeel compared to Sting, Rouge, and Wendy. It is confirmed now that technically Rouge and Sting were just the same age as Wendy was 7 years ago, but due to being stuck in that zone, well, I mean, in the fairy sphere, they aged, she did not. It also realizes that that moment when Grandin were talking to to Ignil inside Natsu's body, saying, "I'm sure that child will meet up Wendy as well. When it comes, I hope they want to get along." And then another manifestation appears, and that's actually Sting, who is apparently the manifestation of his answers he has yet to seek. And this manifestation jokes that they will always gather around for their meetings when we all seated together, but they have no memories of this. So Natsu's consciousness erased Seraph's presence, and this Sting manifestation begins to talk about, "I will guide you to the true identity, what is inside your body." Natsu's body is getting colder, which probably means that he is close to dying. Is this a hint for the first time that Natsu is gonna learn to control his END power by having it fight within himself? That's gonna be so awesome. Speaking of Sting, the real Sting is actually running away and has been delivered to a place thanks to Freed, who is gonna search for Luxus. Ugh, I have just a feeling something strange is gonna happen then. And he senses that Yukino, who by the way, as she has really been stripped of most of her clothing. Don't get me wrong, I don't dislike that picture, but it's also a bit disgraceful. Not when I mean disgraceful, I don't mean for the creator who created that, nor for the fact that this happened. It's the fact that the Lacrade Rakid had the gall to even do that to Yukino. She is sweating bullets and her mind has gone blank. She is soon gonna fade away. It's then that Sting appears, as the hero, being fashionably late, punches Rakid, but of course cannot do anything of it. Rakid unleashes his magic, but it has no effect on Sting, at least not yet. After all, Rakid's pleasure magic is white-like magic, and Sting can eat anything that is white. There's some people who actually have argued that he ate an arrow, but if you think about it, the guy fired that arrow with a white light, and technically isn't arrows supposed to represent angels firing them, so it actually makes sense for him to even eat an arrow too. But for the first time we see Sting actually eat the white element, and he proclaims white is not going to work on him. As he faces off against Rakid, he gets suddenly pissed that someone he dislikes is reminding of him of... Actually, at the beginning I don't really get that line, but it's saying like, "Your stench reminds me of my good old friend Natsu." I mean, he has begun to worship Natsu again. So I think he is saying that, how can someone so evil like you have the same symptoms as my old friend? That is unforgivable. So Sting seems to be able to oppress pleasure because he is the white dragon slayer, therefore he can eat it. The question is though, can he defeat Rakid? According to August, it is only the power of love, or power of Mavis, that can stop. So are we only gonna get more and more Wolf effect now? I hope not. Give us some hope, but at least Sting had some pretty cool moments. He has mixed reviews in fanbase, but I have to admit that entrance, I can't help but feeling fashionably late. There's also the hints that, Sting and Yukino, they seem to be a pair. At the beginning I shipped Rouge and Yukino, but later on I actually begin to ship Yukino and Sting. Is this gonna be one of those moments? Is Sting gonna die? Well, who knows? Rakid is after all smiling, so I only await despair. Next chapter is called Hunger Hell, so what does that mean? Is that meant to imply that Sting is gonna eat so much that he's actually gonna become fat again? Or is that something like... or is there a moment where... what is that word? Sting... Rakid trying to find a way to create a white that not even Sting can eat. Who knows? All in all, this was a solid chapter with some nice covers and some nice pictures of the beautiful ladies. But what awaits us, no idea. But I like the chapter. What do you think about it? Give me your thoughts if you have any.